buffs in general. He's actually picked up a
GP nerfed.
I was gonna say a lot of the big top laners, the big Gs, if you will, the Gwens, the Naras, and the Gragas's. He has crept himself back up into relevance.
And it's actually crazy so far coming into this draft and me saying like, yeah, you know, solo laners are not really going to matter much. We always see just, you know, junglers and then, you know, bot lane champions banned out. This draft going a lot different. JDG taking away both Sylas and Gnar. So wanting to take Wayward off of Comfort and also wanting to get Knight off of his best pick. Yagao has played Sylas, but I think it's a lot more of a staple for Knight than Yagao. Yagao has been leaning a lot more on, you know, things like the Ahri, the Talia, the Lissandra, the Azir, these much more control mage-oriented picks. And now looking at it, Vi still being left up, and it's just going to go through. So Vi, Zeri, these are kind of the big picks that I'm looking at. Typically, you prioritize the Vi over the Zeri because that ultimate does give you the lockdown to be able to deal with it.
Again, we're starting to see this shift away, like I mentioned. Once the Yuumi banned away, the Sivir and Zeri combination that you would normally have with that champion definitely falls down. And we've seen an awful lot more people prioritizing this Lucian, kind of saying, look, you're not going to take the Nami. There's just no real way you're going to take that solo. It doesn't really work with any other kind of combination to give that same factor. And so we're going to happy to first pick that one. It gives us so much kill pressure on that bot side, especially if we can get an early game jungler.
Ooh, and this would be pretty crazy if they go for it, and they do right away. Jackie Love locking in his famous Draven and pairing it right alongside the Nautilus. Now for JDG, we know that we should expect the Nami to be able to come out. You know, they are going to have to be careful of the kill lane, of the kill threat able to come out from TS if they do land that Nautilus hook. And now, again, looking at junglers and where they want to go with these picks, because heck, the Vi still being open. There's still an immobile AD carry on the opposite side you can take down. Wukong, another huge pick left open. And even Poppy. I was so surprised in yesterday's series with how much Poppy just fell through the draft and how much neither team cared to even take a look at her.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think that the Poppy rose to prominence, and then very quickly, I think people started to find counters to it. It did feel like there was definitive ways of dealing with it. Things like the Sejuani, of course, the Trundle is a traditional counter into it as well. And it just feels like, yes, it started off so brightly, but people have started to favor things like the Vi, like even the Xin Zhao and the Sejuani coming into more prevalence as such. So curious to see what they're going to look for. And interesting enough, we've actually gone through the first 3 picks on both sides. Neither side picking up their jungler. Both sides going, look, we need our bot lanes and we need a good mid lane matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this draft has just been so different from what we've been seeing throughout playoffs. Top Esports still going to lean into those jungle bans to be able to come through. Trundle, I mean, Trundle works, like you said, against the Poppy. Also good into the Wukong, so could be setting up for something like that. I think not banning out top laners kind of makes sense because 369 has shown that he's pretty much willing to pull out anything. Like, we've seen him play things like the Vladimir. He's played the Sai on this split. He was starting off the season playing Set when it wasn't meta. So where for JDG, you ban out some of these safer top laners who have an easy time being able to lane against anything. So Gnar, Gwen already taken off the table. Heck, Top Esports taking away the Sejuani. Not really much left. We did see the Gragas hover earlier on. Hasn't been played all too much, but is another champion that kind of just put in top side and can kind of do fine against most champions.
Can do fine. Again, something that's not going to have an exceptionally bad time into really any kind, like you just mentioned, but the Wukong does get banned away. So the Poppy, again, still creeping itself down to all the way through this. And again, the Poppy was something that Tarzan said in multiple interviews, that he was one of the vanguards of the kind of the first people to really bring it out, and said, look, the Poppy's early game is so good. You cannot underestimate this champion. I will say, though, we have seen it in the most recent series. The longer the game goes, the longer the kind of, you know, you get time to put items onto your carries, the less relevance this Poppy seems to have. So it does feel like with Top Esports going for this, we're going to need to see some pretty good early aggression coming out from TN.
And now JDG having to go to the top side. Not many like blindable top laners left open. You have things like the Kennen, JDG. I mean, having AP mid laner wouldn't be all too bad to like index into double AP, but there's a lot of tanks on the opposite side so far. So JDG maybe gonna want to go with some physical damage. And we highlighted that 369 has been willing to play a lot of obscure picks that not a lot of people typically see in the meta, both Sion and Set being those, and now the Sion going to be locked in, so having even more frontline. Pretty short range composition coming out from JDG, but tons of engage and all in.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many go buttons right now. Point and click ultimate there from the Vive for Kanavi. You've got the ultimate, the Unstoppable Onslaught coming out here from the Scion as well. And it is just to enable this Lucian-Nami combination. If Hope has given time to just weave in and out of the battle, weave in and out of the fight to make sure he gets those auto attacks off with the Light Slingers, he will do exceptional in terms of these team fights. However, for top esports, you've got fantastic isolation in terms of your CC, the Hextech Ultimatum, the Glacial Tomb, excuse me. So many ways that you can just pick a champion and say, no, you are not allowed to fight.
The huge like damage source for JDG is going to be the Lucian, and like you said, you have Camille ult, Nautilus ult, Lissandra ult. You have so many ways of just singling him out, taking him out of the fight, and then there isn't really one left on JDG to do the heavy lifting. Ari, not the highest damage, mid lane control mage assassin to be able to come out. We have seen people go towards things like Leandri's to try to like bump up that damage a little bit, but still feels like a lot of heavy lifting is gonna be on Hope, and TES have the tools to be able to single him out.
Already, I'm seeing these two compositions, and I'm seeing a lot of fighting right now, Lyric. I'm seeing two teams that are not going to be afraid to try and make those opportunities, those windows where they feel like they have something to kind of get out of it, to take them at the most possible moment they possibly can. So excited to see what they can do with these two teams, excited to see what they can do with these rosters. And again, always going to be looking towards that Draven. If one kind of kill just goes over to the Draven anyway early, this game could blow open completely. So JDG, they've got to play this smart.
For both teams, all right? Both teams have such huge tools to be able to explode off of an early game advantage. Lucian coming on the opposite side, then having a strong mid-jungle like Ahri and Vi, and we know JDG plays for those early leads. So I 100% agree, whichever team can get off to a good start feels like they should be able to take this game home.
Well, it's a repeat of 2020. 2 years later, both these teams find themselves atop of the LPL, both in the regular split and now in the winners final. It's only game one, and yes, you do have an extra life, but you want to make it to the finals. You want to try and get yourself back up. It's been a while since we've seen either of these teams in an LPL final, and today we will be sending one of them to it. So we're going to jump straight into game one of this best of 5, JDG versus Top Esports, and we've already got some shenanigans.
You know, thinking all the way back to week 1, I think they did the same thing.
Good.
Wayward's done this a few times with a few different top laners, but 369 is one of the ones who has chill vibes and is willing to match Wayward in the emote battles. But kind of taking a look across the runes we have coming in so far, nothing too unexpected, right? We have things like the first strike coming out on the Lucian, which has become standard, especially in matchups where you just can't dominate, to where you can take the pressy attack. And then Wayward going the same thing on the opposing side. You know, he's going to get a lot of value going for these trades with 369, being able to build up this gold, and then getting that true damage later on will still be able to have a lot of impact.
We can see now, it's actually interesting as well, because yes, we are seeing the Vi a lot more, but the thing with the Vi is, and probably actually, it's funny enough, I was actually talking to Vedius about this. He wasn't a huge fan of the Vi pick when it started off, because your clear is actually quite slow as the Vi to start off. You're not an exceptionally power farming jungler, unlike the Poppy, where you can see you take your Q first, you're able to take out most of those mini rates. And it is interesting to see the kind of priority being put in this champion, just because you have got a point-and-click CC. You have got, similar to a Nautilus ultimate, where you put yourself into a situation where you can say, cool, I can keep this person down and still have an impact. So you have to be a bit more creative with your pathing at the first clear.
It's one of those champions where you just look at where the meta's at right now, right? I mean, look at both mid laners, right? Ahri, Lissandra. We typically have champions in the top lane, like the Gnar. Not these like huge damage dealers. So just having that point click ultimate as Mark goes in.
Mark does go in. He's going to get ignited. He gets flashed in. The cleanse.
Jackie
And Jackie Love picks up first blood. We talked about this explosive bot lane, but I don't think we expected it this soon.
I know, this was one of the win cons we had for Top Esports, was their bot lane being able to find this type of advantage. Mark was seriously a gangster in their last series against EDG, and showing up here today the same.
I mean, you get both summoners out of Hope. You're not only just getting that, but it's just so much priority here. Now Kanavi puts himself into the brush and maybe just waiting for a couple more seconds for his Q to be back. They don't have level 3 here in the bot side, but they smelled that something was awry, so they backed themselves away. If they did die there, definitely would have been a bit of a bittersweet moment. But for JDG, this is disastrous. And again, like you said, it's just Mark saying, cool, level 2, go.
Yeah, right. Instantly goes in, throws down with the hit of the passive. so Cleanse has to come out from Hope and then is able to get the hook as well. Jackie following up with the flash just makes it so he is able to find that first blood. Serrated Dirk already on the board against a longsword. So for Top Esports, I think having a pretty kind of easy path forward of just honing in on this bot lane, getting more vision placed down. We can already see them having bot side scuttle and still having that ward on the Raptor camp, and just enabling Jackie to push this advantage home and start bringing Knight into the fold. I believe it was EDG in their first game against TES. We saw Scout just constantly making those plays on Lissandra towards bot lane, and now Knight is going to want to take a page out of that book.
Again, just great single target CC is going to be the name of the game here for Top Esports. They're going to be able to find a champion, kill a champion, and without having a cleanse available to you for the next couple of minutes, this is going to be Top Esports' time to maybe put the pressure down, keep the foot on the throat. And why? Because they can. If they can, they do. And that's exactly what you're going to see Top Esports going for here. The dash has already been used by Hope, but they know that TN is here because they had a ward, but now Hope is going to be dying, and you're going to see this a hell of a lot more times here on JDG's side. Top Esports just starting exactly how they meant to go on.
It's just hard, right? Once you find the kill, you're able to get the wave pushed in. Is he down now? Kind of zoned out.
Should be fine, but Knight might be thinking he can go for something a little bit more. There's the Ring of Frost into the hook, and oh my lord, what is this aggression lyric? JDG just don't know where they're going.
No, JDG not really having an avenue they can fight around. Right now, Kanavi playing with fire a little bit. Looks like he might manage to use Raptors in the end because the bot lane is there, but 369, maybe trying to find this kill on Wayward.
It's difficult. He really would need to get the full decimating smash out before he'd have a real chance of taking him out. But still trying to keep the pressure down as the Scion. Of course, the matchup in this doesn't really start turning until you get to that level 6 and even 9, to be perfectly honest, for the Camille, where she finally gets her first item or two and is able to kind of, split push like a menace. But now Knight putting himself now towards his bot side saying, hey, look, I might not have mana or level 6, but you can't walk forwards. You don't have flash here on Hope.
No, still angling around, but Kanavi knowing not really too much opportunity around top side, has to just cover for his bottom lane. And it's one of those things, right, where the first kill comes through, you get the wave pushed in, sucks for JDG's bot lane because now the wave's going to bounce back into TES, and TN pathing around it perfectly to set up for that next kill. And now they just have a formula. They can keep looking to do this. You move to what JDG could do. Now with 6s coming on the board for mid lane, it's a little bit hard to look towards that mid lane for a gank because Knight does have that ultimate to buy some time and keep himself safe. Top lane may be an avenue, but getting your Scion ahead doesn't really do too much. It feels like all you can do is try to counteract the aggression that TN's put towards that bot lane. But look at Jackie. He's already so close to his first mythic.
I mean, that's disgusting. No offense. That is just a horrid amount of damage you have to kind of give yourself, but Tien will smite away the scuttle, so Kanavi just going to be able to put a little bit of hurt onto him before he leaves. But yeah, having a Sheen and a Serrated Dirk is honestly the greatest back for any Draven player because it gives you not only the obviously on hit with the Sheen, but having that extra lethality to just kind of shred through something like a Lucian Nami. Remember, this isn't like a Leona or a Braum or something that can maybe deal with a couple of those spinning axes. This is a Nami that's going to be just as squishy as Mark goes fishing and not quite able to get his catch of the day.
Yeah, half the components for the Essence Reaver, half of the items for the Eclipse already online, and Mark and Jackie Love able to just keep up this pressure so far. Looks like for the side of JDG, they have accepted pivoting a little bit towards top side where they have gotten a control ward down just to make sure no shenanigans go through, but quickly realizing, hey, we don't see Knight on the map. I did just walk into the top side jungle as Kanavi, so we know where TN is. So nice reset coming out from JDG, realizing where Top Esports are. It looks like TS now might force their way into contesting this red buff.
I mean, they're going to look for it. Again, this is something that we're seeing a more of an adaptation. It's no longer about the early dragons because they're not really something you can take anymore. So when you have got this early pressure, it's more about taking away these buffs. It's more about delaying that level 6 coming out from the jungler. Because again, we talked about it for Kanabi. You've got that cease and desist. It's a huge power spike for the Vi to be able to just kind of point and click, find somebody and kill them. But if you're delayed from it, those opportunities kind of dwindle away.
They really do. And it feels like it's so hard right now for JDG to break the formation that TS has set on the map. TS just going to outright go for an early Drake right now and realize they have all the pressure. They have such a good line of control wards in that bot side to spot out if the bot lane or jungle would be able to come through. So this will just be a trade in the end. JDG can try and answer back with a Herald on top side because for TS, maybe don't even go contest. Maybe you do just hammer home on getting more plates for Jackie Love's Draven.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. This is kind of Top Esports saying to JDG, cool, you play towards topside, but you have a Scion. That is a 3,700 gold. My lord, he is 1,300 gold ahead already. But again, it's just JDG saying, cool, you want to play topside? You know, we want to play topside, but Top Esports saying, fine, you have to play bot. You have to cover this, because if you don't, we are just going to win. We are just going to be able to kill you time and time again. So curious to see what they're able to do for it. And again, look, they're just completely abandoning this. They're saying, look, we can't fight this. Level 6 for Jackie. We have to just kind of full force into this topside to try and salvage it.
The good thing for them, if they decide to commit 369 down to the bot side, right, a lot easier for a Scion to be able to play out that 1v2 or potentially 1v3 than the Camille on the opposing side. Looks like JDG, though, are hoping to set up a play on the Camille because 369 has been sticking around for a while. So looks like they're going to overload top side of the map machine.
Yeah, it's a bit risky, though. Wayward is still underneath his own tower, but they are going to get some plates here for Hope and Missing. There's going to be the Rift Tile dropped as well, so should just be a trade of towers. But remember, JDG, they've left bot lane on an island, so this is just kind of more and more farm and experience going over to the side of Jackie Love. They will get first turret, so it's a good reaction here into what was a losing situation on that bot lane. So shouldn't be able to take this on the next wave. They should be able to defend it with the Scion. So at the end of it all, JDG still trading up, but it doesn't feel great.
They were at least able to also dodge out on the matchup, right? Because now, I mean, top side lane turret down. This shouldn't take too much for TS to be able to bring this turret down, right? Just commit man advantage, you know, one more time and have the pressure generated to be able to take it. So at the end of the day, you get first turret. You're still down in gold, but hopefully you can try and start dodging out on this Draven, who did just finish his Essence Reaver. Also, 369 was so patient, and JDG overall were so patient for that play on top side. I thought they were just going to pull the trigger with Kanavi's ultimate. But for JDG, now it feels like the plan might just be overloading parts of the map, dodging out on the Draven, and trying to find your pain points and your advantages that way.
And that's what it's about now. It's no longer about, you know, playing the way you would have played. It's about finding opportunities that maybe wouldn't have presented themselves otherwise. You have to force errors out of the side of Top Esports. You have to be a little bit more creative with how you're going for it. And I love what Wayward's doing right now. He's kind of saying, cool, I'm weak side. I can just freeze this for as long as I possibly can, because even if 369 comes over here, he has to overextend in order to reset it.
Yeah, will be a slow push going towards him. 369 doesn't have to worry too much. He has flash up and still has his ult available, so even if he was catching, like pushing a wave this far extended, he does have the tools to be able to get away. But look on the opposite side of the map, and Top Esports already preparing for this play down on bot side. Knight's the one with pressure in mid because he did commit TP to get back to lane. And this is what we talked about, right? Top Esports really only need to commit resources to this bot lane turret one more time and should be able to get it down, but looks like they're going to keep TN here and try and fish for a pick instead.
They're looking for a TN. It's just hovering around on this bot side, recognizing that Kanavi very much is here, but he knows the Kanavi's here. Kanavi does not know the TN is here. They have no real vision control here on the river for the side of JDG, and now TN, very patient play here, and he's not really losing anything by doing this, by the way. Look at the map. None of his camps are really up. It's just that Krampus. We're going to look for it. There's a good hook, but the water bottle goes wide as they go straight in now. And the cease and desist on the Jackalope, who flashes away. You've got Yagao trying to come in with the Spirit Rush. He flashes forward, but he gets caught out by the Frozen Tomb. They've traded support for mid laner. The bubble is good just to try and catch out the Lissandra. Kanavi is probably 1 or 2 auto attacks away from going down. They're trying to trade it back, but Knight stops Hope from getting any more damage. And yes, JDG tried to overload the bot side, but Top Esports were ready.
Top Esports having the damage available, committing the same amount of resources. Knight was hovering the whole time, so it is going to turn into this bot lane turret, finally broken for the side of TS, and now just building on that gold lead that they've been sitting on.
Yeah, 3,000 gold now coming into this one, and yes, 369's having a fine time up in top side, but not really the win condition you'd be thinking of when you think of this champion of the Scion. So have a look at the replay here, because Mark gets a great hook. It's just unfortunate he catches it onto the wall.
I gotta say, though, the most important thing here is the fact that the culling doesn't connect onto Draven at all. Because you find that CC there, Yagao even does a great job of committing straight onto Jackie Love, dodging out on TN's knock-up, but there was no other damage to get onto Jackie Love. So now he's able to free hit the whole time on the backside. We saw a really nice ult come out from Knight. They were able to get that initial pick onto the Ahri, and now just able to clean up the rest of the members. Had that damage been able to connect, maybe JDG take it, but TS doing a great job not allowing it through. You have this double bodyguard situation, and a Poppy to Nautilus just able to stand right in front of the Draven.
I mean, that's the big thing right now, is that you look at something like the Lissandra, and why it's so powerful into something like an Ahri is because it just has so many ways of delaying you. Fair enough, it might not be able to outright kill you, but it just stops you from being relevant. You can even see there, one Spirit Rush in, then got Ring of Frost, and then had to flash in, try get the charm, and even then it was just too little too late. But now we're going to see a Hextech Ultimatum onto the Scion here. Decimating Smash kind of slows down everybody. It's Jackie Love 3-0-1 now. 2 items, Eclipse and an Essence Reaver finished up here. As JDG really want to fight for this dragon. They don't want to let this stacking objective go to top esports.
I'm kind of surprised that the Hextech ultimatum was committed on the 369, but I feel like maybe the logic for TS is, because they have an item advantage, a full item advantage on AD carry right now, was that they feel more confident taking those front to backs and don't necessarily need to play this dive style onto the Lucian because they know they have more DPS right now if a fight breaks out. But JDG, the ones with ultimates still available.
Yeah, they've got ultimates available to them. Jackie Love, no whirling death, and they're going to jump straight on top of him. This is the point-and-click CC. They charm him up, but can they take him out? Yes, they can! Shut down goes over to the side of Yagao as they take one more kill as well. This is going to be 3. It's a triple kill coming in for the side of JDG. They're trying to turn this one back. Wayward finally kills off the Ahri in the mid lane, but it's 3 for 1. JDG not dead yet.
It's so annoying to play against Fi and Ahri. We just saw how much distance they can close in the matter of seconds, get straight onto Jackie Love, and now going to turn it into this Drake. What was, a couple thousand gold lead before, slowly creeping back for JDG. Now both teams 1 dragon apiece.
1 dragon apiece, and what was a 3,000 gold lead down to about 1,500. But let's have a look at this. Like you mentioned, even a vision of this, they know this could happen, but Jackie Love kind of gets a little bit baited by the ward there and goes for the auto attack, so they know they can cover the distance in time.
They do it. He gets taken down. Lissandra ult doesn't come out onto Yagao until afterwards. And now the big damage dealer is down. Tien does a great job with that ulti to make sure no other members get taken off the board. And it opens up for Wayward to be able to find at least 1 kill for the side of TES.
Yeah, well, TES not done with the action just yet. Kanavi recognizing he's very alone on this top half of the map. With missing kind of coming in, so might not have the support that he so desperately needs as the... Bubble just going to land to try and get a little bit of a trade-off. Ends up going over actually in the favor of Tien. Gets that smite fight in his favor. Well done to him. And maybe that's a bit of a foreboding for later on in this series. But with the topside pressure being firmly in top esports' favor, they are going to turn this into a Rift Herald, which gives them a little bit more power to try and get these turret pushes. But Yagao, not to be outdone, trying to get a bit of damage himself.
Trying to find something on the bot side because for JDG, the resets did come out after, top esports had already respawned because they did delegate some time to picking up that dragon down on the bottom half of the map. And now JDG doing a nice job of looking for this cross map. TES, though, they have potential to just try and get some damage down onto mid when next wave does show up. And Tien doesn't even care about the next wave.
No, he wants to fight. He's got to be careful. We talked about the burst that can come out from someone like a Lucian. Very, very powerful in those small little skirmishes. A smite comes out here as, ooh, nice. He's getting 1v1 right now, and he's got to be so careful. Never mind, he's dead. Kanavi finds the kill, and that is just such a rare error to see from Knight.
Just overzealous, wanting to pick up that blue buff. Maybe assuming since JDG's bot lane committed to going to stop Herald, that maybe Kanavi wasn't too far behind, but goes in for the kill, picks that up, and teams just trading evenly. Another turret picked up for both sides, at least for top esports opening mid, so will more easily allow them to pivot to either side of the jungle. And JDG, right, their composition a lot more about grouping up as 5 or playing out their two lanes, trying to find picks. So not going to be able to do the most with these extended side lanes, but even just the raw gold, feels great for them.
Yeah, Kanavi, despite the start, is 2-0-3. He's got himself 2 items. He's got the Kempook Chainsword and the Frostfire Gauntlet. So now Jackie Love, ooh, you got to be careful. Yes, he is a half item ahead, but Hope with those 2 kills in that last fight is right back in this game. And all of a sudden, Lyric, it's only 400 gold. This is not an exceptional lead. Considering where we started, I did not expect to be here pre-20 minutes.
No, especially where we're at right now, right? JDG's bot lane having the power spike, being on 2 item solution, Imperial Mandate for Nami, gonna have that significant burst able to come out, even from a decent range with that rapid fire cannon auto. And now both teams wanting to look for a fight again.
They want to go for it. The steadfast presence is good to stop Kanavi on his initial push, but the single target lockdown is too damn good. He's going to jump back onto Knight. Deja vu, you've been here before. Knight goes golden. He's got a flash available to him. Can they burst him out? Yes, they can. That's a double kill in for Hope. Flash in. The charm does not land. So Jackie Love sells survive. And guess what? There's not even an objective right now, Lyric. We're going to have a minute and a half. We're going to do it again.
That's why I was so confused. I'm like, wait, both teams posturing in River right now. Look at the timer. Still a minute and a half away. What are we here fighting for? But JDG, they just see an opportunity, get Jackie Love's flash, and are able to take the fight from there and Hope. better be careful, buddy. He has Hextech Ultimatum online. I understand he has 2 members behind him, but still, you go just a bit too far, you'll be bursted out. We'll see how this all starts. They spot the members of TS out, throw the tidal wave. This is what gets JackeyLove's flash initially, and it sets up for JDG to find the pick onto the Poppy. I believe Missing was able to land a bubble on him as well, and now with the members of TS just so split, it makes it easy for JDG to run them down one by one. 369 play the role of just pushing JackeyLove back, and my God, had that charm been able to connect and other members able to follow up, I mean, that would have been so huge. Another kill on JackeyLove.
And those 2 kills give the gold lead now to JDG, and this is something that we talked about all split long. When we talked about JDG, they are a team that is probably LPL personified. People think of LPL as just fighting over anything. JDG do it. JDG do that so often. They will pick an opportunity like right now and say, cool, we're going to go full force. They're going to get the onslaught or these unstoppable onslaught straight down onto the Nautilus, and he's dead. That's a fantastic tidal wave to separate the rest of the team. JDG, they don't care about the early game. They just care about the fights, and they are absolutely destroying top esports. JackeyLove with no flash has nowhere to go. Wayward flashes away to keep himself alive, but JDG, they started off a little rough, but it's just fine because they're a gold nugget.
Man, top esports are just getting picked apart. I'm just so surprised at seeing how these fights are going down, like the targets that are being focused. JDG, great job and great example of exactly what you just said. They always slam their foot on the gas pedal. They really only know how to go forward. Because of that, they get themselves another Drake in pocket, and from you know, being 3,000 gold down earlier on in the game, they now find themselves 3,000 gold up.
I mean, a 6,000 gold swap in a space of about 5-6 minutes. It's absolutely insane, and this is why, honestly, it's kind of the opposite of what we expected. Normally, JDG's early games are exceptional, with their mid-game kind of having a couple of rocky things, specifically against LNG. That's what we saw, but it's almost the opposite now, where their early game wasn't great, but they've turned that completely around, and with 369 on this unkillable behemoth, who deals with the Scion?
I mean, good job by Mark to like body block it and trying as well. I'm surprised by Wayward and Knight just jumping onto Kanavi though. Like, they're trying to shut him down from being able to jump onto JackeyLove, but you still don't really have the damage able to hit Kanavi or taking out their big burst member who we've been seeing, right? Hope being the one to get in, really laid down the damage. Kanavi's huge as well, but yeah, top esports just constantly being forced into different directions, which pretty much allows JDG to not even have to take a straight up 5v5. They're able to like fight 2 members here, find those kills, and just go into the rest of TES. So now they're gonna try and get vision around this mid lane turret and try and find some pressure. For TS, you can see them trying to set up sides with the Camille, but JDG don't feel too bothered by it.
No, they don't care right now. JDG running around as 5 and just saying, cool, we'll take whatever we want because you can't fight us right now. Yes, you might have a slightly better macro position, but we don't care. We're a 5-man death ball, and we're going to be able to take anything and everything that we desire. And for JDG, this is just so damn good to see because so many teams, so many players would probably get demoralized after that start. It's a Draven. He's now on 3 items or 2 items way before your AD carry, but no. They know their strengths. They know how to bring themselves back, and JDG just really, really pushing the narrative of just like they are one of our top 2 teams, if not our top.
100%. They've been playing like it in this game. Looking at the opposite side though for TS and thinking how they can play the game going forward. The rough thing for them in like taking a lot of these fights front to back is that JDG just have a stronger front line, right? You look kind of two tanks apiece for either side. Knight pseudo front line as well, being able to encase himself with his ulti, but I think not exactly ideal. But Mark, I mean, you're support. You're not getting that much gold. You're not matching the tank stats of 369, even if Tien... Wait, what?
Here we go. We're going to go for a full fight. The tidal wave to try and disengage, but you've got your tank of Kanavi almost surviving. Double TP comes in now. It's a 5v4, but a good charm makes this a 4v4. Never mind. Mark goes into stasis to keep himself alive just a little bit longer, and now Hope, thinking he can maybe poke and prod back at the side of top esports, but at the end of it all, ends up being a good pick for top esports as JDG maybe got a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, I was surprised to see JDG going, a little bit forward there and matching TS. Wayward, great job to be able to find that pick coming through. And now for TS, buying yourselves a little bit of a reprieve, right? Be able to get back to side lanes, answer some of these waves, and just try and get yourself in a better position in regards to gold, because still a lot of their members behind in items compared to their opposing counterpart. Really the only exception being AD carry and then support as well. And I mean, right, neither support really being able to get to that 2-item mark just yet, and JackeyLove doing a good job of being able to match Hope in terms of items because of the early lead he was able to stack up.
Yeah, again, look, 369, 2 items. You actually nearly have a frozen heart now for Kanavi, so he's going to be, again, a super tank in that front line. 3 items picked up for Hope, so he's online with that IE. So right now, it does feel like Top Esports definitely on the back foot. Not by much, but it is still significant to feel it. I feel like the biggest difference, like you said, is going to be TN with his Poppy not really having the same level of tankiness and mobility as something like Kanavi. So we'll wait to see where they want to go for. Just over a minute until the dragon spawns. They really would love to take this turret on the side of JDG, but Top Esports very well defended right now, and it's going to be about vision game. It feels like the fights are the big thing, and right now you can see it, thank you to observers, they don't have much vision.
No, and JDG trying to exploit that so far, but they got to be careful. Another thing I want to highlight for the next fight is the fact that we said a lot of these fights kind of happening front to back, hitting front line. Jackie Love still not having LDR, went for Rapid Fire Cannon third instead. He could struggle at taking down members like 369, who's going in.
369 is just a full front line. How do you deal with this right now? You can see Knight trying to jump down onto Missing to see if he can get something there. Hope gets the Hextech ultimatum. He cleanses away the ultimate from the Lissandra, and he stays alive. Hope was insane in that. They threw everything in the kitchen sink, and he still wouldn't go down.
We finally saw Top Esports try to get on backline, though. This was the first fight where it is the Lissandra and the Camille jumping straight on top of the Lucian. You hit on it, it wasn't able to work out. Hope able to survive. The other members of JDG able to react quickly enough to try to play keep away and be able to get involved as well, start dealing that damage, forcing things like the Zhonya's to be used. And heck, we'll just go straight into the replay. Right as we're talking about, do Top Esports have the damage to be able to take in the front line? 369 says, let's find out, buddies. Goes right in instantly. Hope takes down Mark. And keep an eye on Knight and Wayward here. They go straight on to Hope. They get the damage down. He is cleansed, though, to be able to get out from that ulti. And Wayward gets chunked so low from Hope and Yagao, he instantly has to use that stopwatch. And it kind of leaves Knight on his lonesome to be instantly taken down by the members of JDG.
Yeah, I will say as well, if you look at the last, kind of the two sides of that fight, it was, Hope doing a hell of a lot of damage. I think Jackie Love got 3 auto attacks off, and that's not me flaming him. There was just not really a lot else he can do. The point and click CC meant he had to flash and cleanse. He wasn't really relevant towards the, any point in that last fight. I will say though, because JDG took an extra time to take that mid lane tier 2 or tier 1, excuse me, they are now in a position where they weren't able to defend that third dragon. So that's a second dragon there for Top Esports. It's a little small silver lining, but definitely something needed if Top Esports want to try and come back into this.
This was one of the things that TS were really good about in the regular season, was actually prioritizing dragons very heavily because they know Knight is caught out.
He's caught, he's CC'd, and he is dead. Nothing you can do, and this is the vision game we talked about a little bit earlier. When you don't have that vision, you cannot face check.
And sadly for Knight, at least in this game 1 so far, not having the best performance against his old buddy, his old rival, coming from the same city, playing at the same internet cafe. And right, both are playing a more supportive role. It's about layering and getting that CC down to set up for the picks. But Yagao definitely having a much better time so far than Knight.
Oh, for sure. I think if you don't even need to look really at the scores, because I think both mid laners have definitely had muted impacts, but it does feel like those charms have been a hell of a lot more impactful than those frozen tombs. So right now, JDG just kind of accelerating the gold lead. Kind of again, remember they were down 5-1 in kills. It was a Top Esports advantage for the first 10-15 minutes of this game. 2 or 3 bad fights, all of a sudden Top Esports are half the amount of kills and about 5,000 gold down as well. This gold lead is actually becoming very significant. I mean, TN has been sitting on an item and a half for about 10 minutes.
Yes, it's definitely been rough for TS, and even looking forward, right? One of the big things to look at when we have so much CC on both sides and both teams are really playing for these picks is flashes and summoner spells. JDG have all their flashes up and just summoner spells up across the board. Jackie Love, no flash. Knight, not sure if it's available to be ready to change, but no flash up right now. Wayward, no flash up right now. Would be rough.
Here we go, 369, they're putting in some damage into him. But again, remember, we talked about him. He's a super tank. You're not really going to have that same level of kind of damage to put on top of him. Hope does get jumped upon, has to go golden, but immediately will die. The stasis comes out from the Lissandra, so Knight keeps himself alive and picks himself up a kill. But Kanavi's kind of having a 1v1. Never mind, it's a 5v1. He flashes in, misses the Q, and he goes down. Top Esports are not the kind of team that you can get complacent around, and that could mean Baron.
Yeah, Top Esports going to instantly start this one up. I can't believe they were able to come out ahead in that fight. JDG, though, TPing in. They want to contest this.
They want to contest, and they know there's low health bars. Remember, the Baron damage also shreds your magic resistance. Knight doesn't have his ultimate. They're going to try and run in with 369 playing bodyguard. The splash. The smite is early. The smite is so early, but it doesn't matter. They get the Baron, but can they get out? They're trying to get on the missing, who has to get his Mikhail's blessing on top of himself, but it's Jackie Love who picks himself up a kill. He doesn't really have the damage to take down 369. There's so many low health bars. There's so many people going almost to death's door, but they shall not walk through it. Top Esports, they dance with the devil, and they come out trumps.
All from one fight, all from one pick that they're able to find. We're going to instantly see the replay of it. JDG being the ones to walk in, being the ones to go forward. You're going to see the dichotomy of the fight. Kanavi goes straight onto Draven. It's a 1v1 to where Hope running forward. Wayward waits for the perfect moment to get on top of him with the Hextech ultimatum. Knight following up as well. Enemy AD carry taken down to where Kanavi not able to finish off Jackie Love. The other members come in time, do a great job of hooking him in. And look at Tien trying to play bodyguard for Jackie Love, and then sadly not able to connect with that last bit of damage. So the difference really being Wayward in that situation. Wayward getting straight on top of Hope once he E'd forward.
Lyric, that's a 6,000 gold swing. They were 5,000 down. They're nearly 1,000
I'm excited, Ashid. I'm
What is
excited
this
for the
game?
gold graph. I'm so ready for it.
The roller coaster that will be this gold graph. I don't know if I'm ready for it right now, but both these teams better be ready for this next fight in 50 seconds. You got a GA finally being picked up here by the side of Hope, as he did use his stopwatch in the last games or last fight, so it's no longer useful to him. And we're starting to get to kind of big 3-item spikes, 4-item spikes for the AD carries, but 3 items for everybody else. So right now, it is going to be the next big fight. We can have a quick look. There is a stopwatch on Jackie Love, and there's a stopwatch on the side of Kanabi. Outside of that, it's just regular Zhonya's for the mid laners.
In TS now.
Oh,
They're going to be the ones to start it off.
They're going to go in. There's the stopwatch we just talked about. That's a good ultimate there from 369, who gets booted out of the fight by the Poppy. They get the ultimate down from the Nautilus, and he separated out Hope, who goes in the GA, but this is usually to delay for the rest of your team to come out and help you. Knight is just keeping everybody at arm's length. Flashes beautifully, and we talked about Knight having a little bit of a muted performance so far. He's finally come into this series, and it is going to be Top Esports getting out of that fight on top.
Top Esports staying and wanting to just, barrel down this mid lane, take this turret, not even looking at Dragon just yet. Heck, you have Baron minions for only 40 more seconds. You better use them. And it looks like Top Esports wanting to do that, playing through 2 lanes, because they did commit Wayward's TP to bot.
And they're going to commit to this one here. The steadfast presence very good to stop the Nautilus from going down. Never mind. He gets taken out anyway. Kanavi, though, getting chased out here by Jackie Love, who's got some serious damage now that he's got his Lord Dominic's regards. They will be able to trade that 1-for-1, and they get themselves the mid turret as well. While that's been happening, Wayward's been playing a little bit of PvE and getting himself stacked up on that bot side.
Jackie Love cashing out pretty consistently in this game with the Draven. I mean, heck, known for the Draven pick, has been for years. We're going to go back in this fight, though, see how it all pans out, because TS, they have the ward. They instantly jump onto Kanavi. For JDG, they do a pretty good job of trying to take this fight, but huge ultimate from Tien leaves Hope by himself. Like, that was a game changer in this fight. Now Lucian soloed out all members of TS here. JDG separated by a wall, also being zoned by Knight, just allows him to find that critical pick, and JDG now not able to find the re-engage. You did try in mid, but still not able to take too much. TS now soul point.
Yeah, soul point now to TES. They've got the serious amount of Baron play working for them as well. They cracked open the base, and only really the top side, where there's actually quite a lot of standing gold, funny enough, because they haven't even taken that tier 1 yet. But this game has been the definition of back and forth right now between these two sides. I will say, though, you have to be a little bit careful here as the side of 369. You're tanky, but I don't know if you've got enough damage or enough resources to try and keep you alive for long. The Hextech ultimatum goes down on top of them. They're going to use a tidal wave as well. It's a little bit of a bounce house. As you can see, Knight and Mark put themselves onto the back side, and Tien as well, trying to make more use of this. And I think JDG, they thought that 369's tanky, but we're into the ultra late game. He's just not going to survive.
I mean, we're at the point where, again, Jackie Love has gotten so many kills, like, cashed out. Earlier on in the game, we're like, hey, he's 3 items in and still hasn't picked up LDR. We are well past that point, now being on full build. Like, heck, we were saying Hope and Jackie Love are actually the ones keeping up in regards to items. Hope now actually being the one who is an item behind. Jackie Love still has his G8 up. Hope's is down, and that's what's giving TS so much confidence to keep pushing forward. Tien and Mark at this point, both just being absolutely fearless with these opportunities.
And again, look, we talked about it from the last series. JDG had a couple of scuffs. They were ahead, they get an advantage, and then it just feels like they just let it go for some reason. They loosen their grip for half a second, and someone like Top Esports, actually, you got to be Kanavi thinking about it, and go straight in. Whoa, he knew they were there, and he wanted to go for it. It's going to be 4 members here on the side of Top Esports, but now they've got Knight on the backside here who has to self-ult himself, and Nami has been killed. Jaculo flashes forward aggressively, but that might have been a detriment to him. He goes into GA, but the rest of JDG have fallen. It's not going to be a JDG win because Top Esports are here to play, and Top Esports are here to win.
Top Esports know JDG always love to go in. It doesn't matter if JDG know you're in the bush because Top Esports knew they'd be able to take the fight.
What a roller coaster of a game one, and I want to emphasize that last part. Game one of this best of 5. That is the first game of what I'm hoping is going to be 4 more. This has been absolutely fantastic from both sides, but Top Esports showing they're just a little bit more of a class above.
We said right coming in, this rivalry was the rivalry of 2020, went to 5 games in both spring and summer finals. These teams were just so neck and neck. And yeah, right, the rosters have changed, but their seasons this split have just been so incredibly good. Once again, coming